Okay, let's just dive right into this one, because this source document is absolutely chilling. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to analyze a direct, first-hand account sent to us by an anonymous truck driver. And the reason he demands complete anonymity is actually fundamental to the story itself. He literally refuses to reveal his identity because of the severe psychological toll of what he claims still haunts him to this day. We're going to break down his exact timeline, his environmental conditions, and the totally impossible scenario he reported out on Highway 27. Have you ever driven on an empty highway at, say, 2 a.m.? Just picture it for a second. Put yourself right in that driver's seat. It's an everyday scenario for commercial truckers, sure, but it brings this very specific, kind of heavy type of isolation. The only light is just your headlights slicing through the absolute darkness. There's this hypnotic rhythm to the road, and a profound silence that can really start to play tricks on your mind. Anchoring ourselves in this deeply relatable, highly isolated environment is absolutely crucial for understanding how the events of the source material actually unfolded. Section 1. The silence of night. To truly grasp the gravity of our source's claim, we need to establish the baseline conditions of what started out as a completely ordinary night shift. We're dealing with a classic phenomenon known as the phantom hitchhiker. From an anthropological standpoint, this is a super widespread urban legend. It typically features a ghostly figure who hitches a ride, only to inexplicably vanish from a moving vehicle, leaving behind this complete physical impossibility. You've probably heard variations of this trope around a campfire. But what separates our source material today from just some campfire tale is the rigid, modern-day timeline and the digital footprint attached to this driver's specific trauma. We aren't just looking at a legend here. We're analyzing one man's reported reality. Let's walk through the exact timeline of his shift from 2022. It reads almost like a police report. At exactly 2 a.m., he notes the highway is entirely empty. Isolation is at a maximum. Just 5 minutes later, at 2:05 a.m., the visual anomaly occurs. He spots a lone man standing by the side of the road wearing a white shirt, asking for a lift. And then we hit our critical timestamp, 2:25 a.m., the disappearance. We have a highly specific 20-minute window where the entire fabric of this driver's reality was basically torn apart. Section 2. The mysterious passenger. This is really the inciting incident of the document. Against all typical safety protocols for solo night drivers, the driver actually decides to halt his massive vehicle. The man in the white shirt silently climbs up and gets into the back of the truck cabin. No greetings, no explanation, just an immediate, really heavy silence. For several minutes, neither man speaks at all. Finally, the driver, who's likely pretty unsettled by the quiet, tries to break the tension. He asks the passenger, "What are you doing here so late?" The man didn't even look at the driver when he answered, "I am going home." But it wasn't just the words. The driver reported that the man's voice was unnervingly low, just almost unnatural. It completely lacked the normal cadence of human conversation. Section 3. Fear of the disappearance. After that brief, incredibly strange exchange, another 20 minutes pass. 20 minutes of complete, suffocating silence in the cabin. No movement, no shifting weight, nothing. The driver is super focused on the dark road ahead, but human curiosity and honestly probably a growing sense of dread forces him to check his rearview mirror. The physical reality of this situation is stark. The heavy cabin door was securely closed, and the truck never dropped below highway cruising speeds. It literally never stopped. Yet when he checked his mirror, the back seat was completely empty. A human being cannot exit a speeding commercial truck without opening a door or causing a massive disturbance, but the man was just gone. Let's just break down the parameters of this locked room mystery for a second. You have a physical passenger who demonstrably entered the vehicle. You have his complete silent vanishing. And you have the unyielding reality of a moving truck with locked doors. There is zero intersection between these variables in the natural world. The driver's mind is desperately trying to reconcile a mathematical error in reality. And just as the panic truly sets in, Section 4. The terrifying truth. By now, the driver is hyperventilating. He's trying to figure out if he fell asleep or if he hallucinated the pickup entirely. The tension in the cabin is at an absolute boiling point. And then, an external, digital variable enters the equation. Right there in the dark, his smartphone screen lights up. A random notification pushes through. It's an old news article from a nearby local area. The driver glances down, and what he sees completely shatters the mystery, turning it into a confirmed, documented nightmare. The The article is about a fatal crash on Highway 27, and staring back at him from the phone screen is a photo of the exact same man in the white shirt he had just picked up. So the crucial point here is the data attached to that article. The news report confirmed that the man in the photo, the guy who had literally just sat in the back of this truck, died in a fatal crash on this very highway exactly 5 years ago to the day. The notification didn't just provide an identity, it provided a death certificate. The driver violently slams on the brakes. The truck screeches to a halt right there on the empty highway. His mind is racing, trying to process this news article. Driven by raw, instinctual fear, he slowly raises his eyes to check the rearview mirror one last time. The man is back, sitting exactly where he was. But this time, he's staring directly into the driver's eyes, and he's smiling strangely. The silence in the cabin is broken for the final time. The deceased passenger looks at the driver and speaks. "I remember how I died." Section 5. An unfinished journey today. So what actually happens to a person after their fundamental understanding of reality is broken? Well, we have to analyze the aftermath. The source didn't just send this to us as a spooky story. He sent it as a confession of ongoing trauma. The psychological scarring is completely permanent. First, he totally altered his livelihood, never driving that highway at night ever again. The avoidance behavior is severe. But even more alarming, to this day, he claims that on certain nights, while driving completely alone, he can hear the distinct sound of someone breathing in the empty cabin of his truck. The haunting isn't tied to the location anymore, it's tied to him. Which leaves us with one final, really lingering question. Is this just an incredibly vivid psychological break? A manifestation of highway hypnosis and intense isolation? Or is someone actually still waiting out there on Highway 27, doomed to repeat a 5-year-old tragedy, just looking for a ride home? I'll let you analyze the data and decide for yourself. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.